What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video. I'm not sure if this is going to be of interest to you guys, okay? So in the comments to this video after you watch it, if you liked it and you want to see more of it, let me know and leave a comment. If you didn't like it, that's fine too. Tell me that. But I wanted to put together a quick video of loose graded items that were kind of a year in review for 2021 for items that I picked up this year. I think I've shown most of them. I think I've got 3 items in this video that you haven't seen yet on the channel. If you follow me on Instagram at Action Figure Grader, then you've seen, I think, all of these. But if you don't follow me there and you just watch the channel, that's fine. And I thought, we would take a look at some of the highlights that I picked up this past year. It was a good year for collecting for me. And, we're going to start with a few bootlegs that I picked up. The first one I've already shown on the channel. This is the Polish bootleg Han Solo that I picked up from Jacob Brzezinski. He's got a second edition of the vintage Polish Star Wars bootlegs, a book coming out that should be out in the next couple of months. And this was one that I picked up from him. This was a Han Solo that was used in the book. So CAS was good enough to print out a copy of that page with Jacob's help, and it's got the Han Solo next to the page where he's featured, and you can tell he's got that black fingertips from the paint error, and this one does as well. But this is a cool example with gray shirt and all black, and you can see all the number of different. You got the Disco Hans down here. I love that pink one. That's really cool too. That one is graded 70, and it says book photo sample on the label. So that was a really cool one that I picked up earlier this year. I also added to my unarticulated Polish bootleg Farm Boy run. I had this one already, this blue and silver one, but these two I added this past year as well. So that was kind of a cool thing. Big shout out to Dustin B and to Robert W for helping me acquire this one, as well as the next one I'm getting ready to show you. But I've got both of these I picked up this year, or 2021. One's graded 50, a whopping 50, and one's graded a 60 plus. But it's got kind of a denim blue trouser and then a kind of a tan trouser. So that was pretty awesome to add 2 more bootleg Lukes, because they're hard to find. The collectors tend to hoard those, and maybe you guys are thinking the same thing about me now that I've got 3 of them. But I've seen some collectors that've got, just 20 of them. It's crazy. Now, I don't think I've actually shown this on the channel yet, and it's a mistake on my part that I just felt like I had shown it already, but I don't think I had. And that is this one. This is a very precious, awesome Polish Deluxe Yoda, and these are very, very difficult to find, and I'll show you the kind of population for those, as well as other information on other variants available in a second from the book. But this one, again, I want to say thank you to Dustin B and to Robert W. They did a transaction with a gentleman over in Poland, and as part of that transaction, they let me piggyback and get a couple of figures from that seller. One was this Luke Farm Boy, and then the other one was this one. This is a Polish Deluxe series bootleg that came out in about 1985, and I'll show you kind of the factory information in a second from the book. But this is an incomplete example. They do make utility belts and canes for these deluxe fully articulated Polish bootlegs, but they started in about 1985, and this one has the red limbs with the dark green body, white face. And it's a very, very high grade. I can't tell you how difficult it is to get a 90 grade for anything bootleg. But this one did come back with a 90 grade. And I knew it would come back high. I was expecting an 85 or an 85 plus. But this one did sneak out very barely a 90 grade from Collector Archive Services. So you can see it's very well labeled here. They were very attentive to my requests. But it's a dark green with red limbs, and there's several different variations, again, that I'll show you in a second. But this is based straight off of the Kenner mold. And let me see if I can... Yeah, there it is. You can see it in the light there. It's got the LFL. So this is based on the no COO version of Yoda, the license figure. So it's a straight copy of the mold. It did not come with a cloak, but it did come with a utility belt, cane, and snake. And that are all those accessories are very, very... rare. They're very difficult to find. There's not many survivors left, but I'm just happy to have the figure itself, because these deluxe series bootlegs are very difficult to acquire, and especially in good shape. And so I wanted to show you from the book. These are from the Deluxe Set. Let's start all the way back at the beginning for the Deluxe Set. And these came out, you can see here, the name of the producer, the factory, is Spoltzelnia, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but this is the name of the company. City of production was Lodz in Poland. Years of production, 1986. I said 1985. It's 1986 to 1989. There's only 4 of them in the series. There's the Gamorrean Guard, which is very expensive. The Reese, which is also very expensive. The AT-AT driver, which I did have one at one point. I don't have one anymore, but and then the Yoda. So I would say in terms of population, the AT-AT driver is the most easily acquired. Yoda is probably number 2. But the Gamorrean Guard and Reese are extremely expensive. You're probably talking $1,500 to $2,000 minimum for those, especially if they're complete. A complete Reese will probably set you back, easily over $2,000 is my guess, and pretty close to that for the Gamorrean Guard. But the AT-AT driver is not that hard to acquire. You can probably pick up an incomplete one for a couple $100, maybe, or less, depending on condition. A complete one would probably set you back, I'd say, closer to $350 to $500. There are a number of different color variations for the AT-AT driver, as you can see. And I had one that was blue, but I ended up giving it to a buddy of mine who needed one to complete. But here are the different Yodas, and that's the main reason I wanted to show you this. The example that I have is this one here. This is the dark green torso, legs, and head, and red arms. There is a light green, and then there's just a regular green. So there's 3 different shades of green. And so mine is the dark green. There's also a red one, as well as a blue one. And the blue is probably the most expensive. An incomplete one just sold recently on Facebook Deal or No Deal for $2,250. $2,250 for an incomplete one. So the blue one is very, very expensive. And then the red would be the next most. If you want to see some good examples of that, check out Dustin Bond's. I don't have Dustin B's off the top of my head. If I remember, I'll put an insert with his Instagram account. But he's got a number of different examples of these. But there are not many of these left out there. And I think that they had mentioned the population. There's less than 65 known examples for all the different color variations for this Yoda. So this is one of 65. It'll be interesting to see when Jacob releases the 2nd edition of this book, which is, again, Far, Far Away, a guide to unlicensed vintage Polish Star Wars figures. It'll be interesting to see whether that population report is updated or not with different numbers. But this one is a beautiful example, and one of the more rare bootlegs in my collection. And to get a 90 grade, it's probably, I would venture to say that for, an incomplete example, this is one of the higher grades that's ever been recorded for one of these bootlegs, either with AFA or CAS. So very, very proud to own that one. And again, thanks to those guys for helping me acquire those. Okay, so that's it for bootlegs. I know that most of you guys don't care about bootlegs, but I did want to show you a few other licensed loose graded figures that I picked up this year. One of those that was on my goal list for 2021 was this one, the Yak Face. I picked that up from Dark Side Alliance on Facebook. Thanks to Gaz and to, Terry. Thanks to those guys for a smooth transaction. But that was an AFA 85 Yak Face. And I got that very early in 2021, and it proved to be a very fortuitous purchase because he's done nothing but go straight up in value. We just saw in my market update yesterday that an AFA 85 Plus sold for $1,300, which is complete insanity to me. Mine's only an 85 only, so I'm very happy with the price I paid, since I paid less than half that number for the 85. The other big one that was a massive purchase, and it came back with a very high grade, was this no toe dent blue snaggletooth that I picked up in 2021. That was courtesy of Rogue 5 Toys on Facebook. And as a reminder, we are going to be having Chris W. on my channel tomorrow, January 7th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. UK time. We're going to talk more about the market, what the outlook is for 2022. But thank you again to Chris for selling me this beautiful blue snaggletooth. It came back with an 85 plus from Collector Archive Services. I could not be any happier, and Chris really gave me a great deal on this, so I want to say thank you again to Chris and Rogue 5 Toys for the smooth transaction. But I've already got the link set up on my for the live stream for tomorrow's episode, so be sure to set a reminder. And we are encouraging viewer for participation. This is another one that I haven't shown yet. I talked about it, but this is that SW seller, Star Wars seller on eBay that we had some kind of weird stuff going on with his auctions. But this is one I picked up from him. And Chris W. and I bid against each other unknowingly for this one. This was an AFA 85 Death Star droid. So I've got a number of carded Death Star droids, but I didn't have a loose one yet. This is probably on this, you know, if there's such a thing as low grade or high grade 85s, this would definitely be a lower grade 85 in my opinion, because it does have, you know, some scratching on the eye. It's very minimal, but there is some scratching there, and just some light paint chips. But it got an 85, and it's a beautiful item, and for the price I paid, I'm very happy with it. I got it for about, versus some of the others that have sold on eBay, they've been averaging kind of 250-ish, 240, 250. I think I paid 200. So I was okay with that. I think it was okay price for a nice high grade Death Star droid, but I hadn't shown this one yet either. So these are the two new ones that I showed. I got one more that I picked up months ago and that I hadn't shown yet. I did also pick up a couple loose graded R5s this year. One of them was from Dark Side Alliance again. That was the AFA 85 straight Hong, you know, the standard Hong Kong. And then I also had the 1977 date stamp that graded 80 plus. So another couple of R5s for the collection there. So that those were nice pickups this year, I feel like. And then the last one I wanted to show that I hadn't shown yet on the channel was this one. This was a baggie, and I forgot I hadn't shown this yet on the channel, but this was an AFA 85, and it's labeled as a Kenner Star Wars, but this is really a PBP figure. This obviously is the older case since it's got that bar there. So this was before AFA started properly labeling PBP figures, but this is the light green head PBP. There's several different PBP variations, but this is a bagged figure. I also picked this one up from Rogue 5 Toys many months ago. This has probably been 4 or 5 months ago that I picked this up. But I've also got the loose graded example of that, so you can see how that looks. This is a uncirculated 85, and this one again is an older case, and it's not properly labeled, but it's labeled as a no COO, but this is, you know, a Scar COO, light green head Spanish PBP figure. So you can see that the bagged version, that's an AFA 85, and then the uncirculated 85. I've had this one in my collection for a number of years now, but that was that baggie was the last pickup. And I've had a number of other loose graded figures. I picked up those two Lily Lettys that just returned from grading with Collector Archive. I've got some Spanish figures I picked up this year, like the TIE Fighter pilot and the Spanish Black Boots Rebel Hoth Rebel Commander. So, I've got a number of others that I've shown fairly recently on the channel, but a number of these either I've shown months and months ago, or I hadn't shown at all, like the Yoda and the Death Star droid. But I don't know, if you guys don't like this kind of thing, you don't really particularly care about pickups for 2021, kind of a summary thing, then I won't do it. But I could do it for, mint on card figures. I could also do it for the vintage collection and missed cards and things like that. So if you liked it or you didn't like it, let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.